Jammu and Kashmir, restrictions have been completely lifted in 5 districts of Jammu and limited to the night in 5 districts. Similar local relaxations was done in 9 districts of Kashmir. Over 5,000 calls were made in one day in Srinagar via public points for phone connectivity. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar conveys to his Chinese counterpart that actions on Article 370 is purely an internal matter of India, has no implications for India's external boundaries, LAC with China and LOC with Pakistan. Relief and rescue operations in full swing in flood-affected areas of Kerala, Karnataka, Gujarat. Situation improves in Maharashtra's flood-hit Kolhapur and Sangli districts with receding water levels in the 2 rivers. Well, in international news, operations resumes in Hong Kong airport a day after protesters shut down the major travel hub. And in sports, in a milestone moment for Indian motorsport, Aishwarya becomes the first Indian to win the Bajas World Cup with a tally of 65 points in the women's category in Hungary. So those are the headlines at this point of time. I'm Anil Thomas. Now let's get into the stories in detail. The Jammu and Kashmir government has strongly refuted some reports in media about firing by security forces and reported deaths and injuries. It has categorically denied that any firing incident has happened in the state. The government in a press release has also reiterated that not a single bullet has been fired by security forces, nor has there been any casualty. It further said that the government is committed to maintaining peace and public order, and people have been most cooperative.
And you're also aware, on Saturday and Sunday, there were large relaxations. A number of shops were open on Saturday. On Sunday, the number of shops open increased to over 70%, facilitating people to do their Eid shopping. The district and divisional administration carried out a number of activities, including interacting with Maulavis, interacting with people, facilitating the sale of sacrificial animals, organizing mandis, and as a result, we have had an extremely peaceful and relaxed Eid today.
Meanwhile, restrictions have been completely lifted in 5 districts of Jammu and limited to the night in 5 districts of Jammu. Based on local assessment of the situation, similar local relaxation was done in the 9 other districts of Kashmir. Meanwhile, restrictions on connectivity continue as a result of the security requirements across Jammu and Kashmir. However, people are being helped to connect with their relatives and children outside the state through widespread deployment of helplines at convenient locations. Over 5,000 calls were made in one day in Srinagar. Over 300 public points for phone connectivity are functional across the Kashmir division. The Srinagar-based CRPF helpline 14411 has been reactivated to help those who require help for their families or are in distress. The help can also be sought over the CRPF Twitter handle, that's CRPF@Madadgiri. Jammu and Kashmir police have said that some Twitter handles have been identified which are being operated from outside the state and are spreading rumors. Speaking at a press conference on Monday, Inspector General of Police Kashmir SP Pani said that action is being taken against these handles.
We see some malicious campaign by on the social media platform being done, and that has been strongly refuted. And we also request citizens not to pay attention to any such kind of malicious campaign which is being done, which is being carried out by mischievous people. We have strongly denied this, and we have also taken up the matter with the service provider to take legal action as per the law.
India, meanwhile, has told China that the development pertaining to the legislation passed recently by the Parliament on Jammu and Kashmir is an internal matter for India. During a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang in Beijing, S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, said that India's discussions or decisions on J&K are the country's internal matter and the sole prerogative of the country. asserting that the legislative measures were aimed at promoting better governance and socio-economic development. Jaishankar also said there was no implication for either the external boundaries of India or the line of actual control with China, adding that India was not raising any additional territorial claims. The External Affairs Minister said that the Chinese concerns in this regard were misplaced. He also conveyed that so far as the India-China boundary question was concerned, the two sides had agreed to a fair, reasonable and mutually acceptable settlement of the boundary question on the basis of the 2005 political parameters and guiding principles. The Chinese Foreign Minister also referred to rising tensions between India and Pakistan as the result of these changes. As Jaishankar emphasized that these changes had no bearing on Pakistan as it was an internal matter. It did not impact the LOC. During his two-day visit, the External Affairs Minister also attended the second meeting of the high-level mechanism on cultural and people-to-people exchanges in Beijing. During the detailed discussions between India and Chinese foreign ministers, the two leaders discussed the full gambit of issues relating to the international situation, regional aspects and the bilateral relations, including the visit of President Xi Jinping to India for the second informal summit later this year and celebrating the 70th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations next year. The External Affairs Minister noted that since the Wuhan informal summit, there has been progress in the overall relationship. The two countries agreed that maintenance of peace and tranquility in border areas was essential for smooth development of these relations. The economic relationship has seen some progress, but the increasing trade deficit was a matter of concern. It was emphasized that the Chinese side should take steps to address this issue, including by enabling greater access to our pharmaceutical and IT products and services in the domestic Chinese market. Considering the Citizenship Act and rules, the Supreme Court in its interim order today said that the security aspects of the data involving NRC will get the same kind as of Aadhaar. The bench headed by Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi said that only hard copies of the list of inclusions and exclusions will be provided at district offices. It added that NRC needs to be updated according to law laid down under Section 66A. Well, the Supreme Court has asked Noida and Greater Noida Authority to begin registration process to help the delivery of houses to owners. The court warned officials that those responsible for causing delay in this will be put behind bars. Well, for more on that story, Vikas Satya, correspondent, joins us on the phone line. Vikas, the Supreme Court pulling up Noida as well as Greater Noida authorities here, directing them to start registering flats, ready flats as soon as possible. Clearly, things not, the hope that people had finally coming and people, believing that they could get their flats very soon.
Well, Anil, this matter is already being heard by the Supreme Court, and as we know that Supreme Court passed certain directions for completion of projections of Amrapali builders. But there are several apartments which are ready to move, which have where the construction has been completed, and now the court has directed both the authorities, Noida as well as Greater Noida Authority, to ensure that these flat owners get possession timely without any hassle. Because of that, Supreme Court today again reiterated that these authorities must take immediate steps to hand over those flats to their owners, and the authorities have also informed that they have appointed specific officials to complete these processes. There are separate cells have been constituted by both the authorities, though the court has again reminded Noida and Greater Noida Authority that there should not be any kind of obstacle in handing over those flats which are ready to move, and where all the formalities have been completed by the home buyer. So this is a reminder for the authorities to do what Supreme Court had said earlier and ensure that these people get possession in time.
Okay, considering that the court has cancelled the registration of Amrapali under RERA, is it now the responsibility, the court is fixing the responsibility on Noida and Greater Noida Authority for the handing over of flats? Is that what?
Right, Anil. All those formalities which were supposed to be done by Amrapali builders are now, these formalities will be done by the authorities. So far as the other aspect is concerned, the completion of incomplete project, those aspects is being dealt by the NBCC group. But so far as the other formalities are concerned, registration, etc., all those formalities will be completed by both these authorities.
Okay, Vikas, is there a number of flats that are completed or that are ready for registrations that is there before the court? And is there a timeline that the court has fixed for this entire process, for the flats completed and the registration process to be over? Is there a timeline that the court has fixed for this?
Well, I mean, Supreme Court has not set any specific timeline.
Okay.
But if any home buyer finds it difficult that there are some impediments in getting possession of his flat, then he certainly can come before the Supreme Court that these kind of hurdles are being imposed for them. It depends on the home buyers. They will approach to the specific authority. They have special cell for all those processes, and there should not be any kind of difficulty for the home buyers which wants to get possession of their flats.
Okay, with regards to the NRC, what has been the Supreme Court's order today? Clearly, is it rejecting the government's demand to reopen, re-verify NRC in Assam?
Right, Anil. The Supreme Court has rejected the claims that there should be a re-verification of at least 20% of these people who are being registered in NRC, because the centre was of the opinion that there are several numbers of people who were included wrongfully. But Supreme Court said that this process is being taken care by the coordinator, and now Supreme Court will not grant any extension. Earlier also the Supreme Court extended the deadline from 31st of July to the 30th August. So now there is no question of extending it further. The court has directed that all formalities and the preparation of final draft must be completed by 31st of August, and there will be no re-verification as demanded by the centre as well as the state of the Assam.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us with those updates there from the Apex Court. Moving ahead, with the rains relenting after battering the southern states over the past few days, rescue and relief works are on in full swing in the flood-ravaged districts of Kerala and Karnataka. In Kerala, authorities are still scoring landslide hit Kavalpara land and Puthumala in Malappuram and Wayanad districts, the worst hit, to trace over 50 people missing from that particular area since August 8th. Over 88 people have lost their lives in rain-related incidents across Kerala so far, while over 2.5 lakh people are taking shelter in various relief camps. In neighbouring Karnataka, the death toll was 48 till Monday evening, while 12 people are still missing. Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa, who is touring the flood-hit areas of Dakshina Kannada and Mysuru districts, expressed hope that the crucial rivers in the worst-hit Sangli and Kolhapur districts receding and relief and rescue operations going on in full swing. The Mumbai-Bengaluru National Highway 4, which was closed near Kolhapur in Maharashtra for the last 6 days, was partially opened for traffic on Monday after the flood waters receded and thousands of stranded trucks carrying essential commodities were allowed to move. Traffic movement was also allowed between Kolhapur and Belgaum in Karnataka. In the wake of the ongoing flood crisis, the Indian Air Force has launched large-scale operations to help the flood-affected people in Gujarat, Kerala, Karnataka and Maharashtra. A large number of aerial missions are being launched to ensure relief materials reaches even the most inaccessible areas and maximum people are brought to safety. It has also established hub centers in affected states to create seamless air bridges for rescue teams and to provide people relief materials. The Indian Air Force was involved in the biggest rescue operation this monsoon season in Gujarat. The IAF rescued people struck in floodwaters in Kutch district of Gujarat. Along with the local authorities, Air Force joined forces with the Gujarat Police and the National Disaster Response Force, that's the NDRF team, to rescue over 300 people. The massive rescue operation took place on Sunday. The Indian Air Force has rescued nearly 125 people stranded on a road washed away by floods due to heavy rainfall in Kutch district. Those rescued include women and children, even infants. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today dedicated Watan, a new patriotic music video by Doordarshan, to the nation. A musical video song that celebrates New India was sung by playback singer Javed Ali.
माथे पे तेरे चांद का टीका लगाएंगे, आँखों में तेरी ख्वाब के तारे सजाएंगे। पे तेरे चाँद का टीका लगाएंगे, आँखों में तेरी ख्वाब के तारे सजाएंगे, होठों पे तेरे प्यार के नगमे खिलाएंगे। तू देखना वतन तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे, तू देखना वतन तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे, तू देखना वतन तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे, सजाएंगे।
Speaking on the occasion, the Information and Broadcasting Minister said that peace is prevailing in Jammu and Kashmir post the end of the special status.
मुझे लगता है कांग्रेस की हताशा है, निराशा है और दिशाहीन राजनीति है। करण सिंह, ज्योतिरादित्य, मिलिंद देवरा, आरपीएन सिंह और अन्य नेता, जनार्दन द्विवेदी नेता अलग बोल रहे हैं, चिदम्बरम, मणिशंकर अय्यर ये लोग अलग बोल रहे हैं। अब पार्टी इन पेरिनियल कंफ्यूजन, सदा के लिए वो उनके स्टैंड का कोई पता नहीं लगता। लेकिन हम बताना चाहते, कश्मीर में आवाम को तरक्की मिलेगी और आवाम को सही में उनके अधिकार जो 70 साल डिनाई किए थे वो मिलेंगे और इसलिए वो खुश है। और इसलिए आपने देखा लोगों ने बहुत कोशिशें की या बहुत अपेक्षा उनकी थी कि बहुत गड़बड़ होगा, डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं हो रहा है। कल जिस तरह से बकरी ईद का पूरा लोग बाहर आए और जिस तरह से अदा किया अपना प्रेयर्स, तो ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। कश्मीर बहुत जल्दी नॉर्मल होगा, यह हमें पता है और विश्वास है। लेकिन कुछ लोग उसमें फिलिस्तीनी अगर देखेंगे कि फिलिस्तीन बनेगा वगैरह, तो वो उनकी नकारात्मक सोच है और चिदम्बरम जी उसको कम्युनलाइज करना चाहते। ये घटिया राजनीति है।
Army Chief General Bipin Rawat has reiterated that Army is always prepared to deal with any eventuality. Speaking to news persons, he said that precautionary deployment is always done and it should not be something to be concerned of.
हम सदा सतर्क रहते हैं, हम सदा तैयार रहते हैं। किसी तरह की कार्रवाई होगी तो हम उसके लिए तैयार हैं। ऐसे स्टेटमेंट से हमें कोई फिक्र करने की जरूरत नहीं है और ना आपको फिक्र करने की जरूरत है।
Age is just a number. An elderly couple proved this adage yet again by chasing away thieves who sneaked into their farmhouse in Tirunelveli district on Sunday. Shanmugam and Santa Maria showed exemplary courage by using chairs and other furniture at their residence to chase away the thieves who were armed with sickles. The video of the couple displaying immense courage has gone viral on social media. Great courage there being shown by the elderly to fight of the people who had come to rob their house. Well, at least 7 people killed, whilst several others are feared trapped after a speeding truck turned turtle near Badayu in Uttar Pradesh in the Bajas today. 5 others suffered injury during the incident and were rushed to a nearby hospital. The speeding truck loaded with wheat sacks was coming from Badayu when the incident occurred at a crossing. While making a turn, the driver lost control of the vehicle and it toppled over a small tea shop. Some people standing at the shop also got trapped under the truck. An early warning system which helps prevent human-elephant conflict is being installed in villages situated in forest area in North Bengal region, which often witnesses incidents of elephant attack. The Forest Department has installed 16 automated elephant tracking devices in several villages near Gorumara National Park in Jalpaiguri, while 12 such devices have been set up around the Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary in Darjeeling districts on a pilot basis. The system, mounted with the help of a pole and has the infrared technology, temperature and movement sensors along with the controller installed in it. The device can track elephants in 200-meter radius and alert the concerned official. In international news, operations resumed at the Hong Kong International Airport today, with flights departing and arrival a day after protesters shut down the major travel hub. Passengers with luggage were being checked in for flights, and only a handful of the thousands of protesters who flooded into the airport a day earlier remained in the building. Authorities announced on Monday afternoon that cancellation of all remaining arrival and departing flights from the airport after more than 5,000 black-clad pro-democracy protesters staged a peaceful rally in the building. The posters by the protesters have been taken down. However, the protesters have said they plan to return to the airport later in the day to resume their demonstrations. US President Donald Trump's administration takes action to make it even more difficult for poorer legal migrants to extend their visas or gain permanent resident status or a green card. The long-anticipated rule takes effect from October 15th and would reject applications for temporary or permanent visas for failing to meet income standards or for receiving public assistance such as welfare, food stamps, public housing and Medicaid. According to the notice, such a change would ensure that immigrants are self-sufficient in that they do not depend on public resources to meet their needs, but rather rely on their own capabilities as well as the resources of family members, sponsors, and private organizations. The overall is part of President Donald Trump's efforts to curb both legal and illegal immigration, an issue he has made a cornerstone of his presidency. Advocates of immigrants have criticized the plan as an effort to cut the legal immigration without going through Congress to change US law. On sports, Aishwarya became the first Indian to claim a world title in motorsports, annexing the FIM World Cup in the women's category in Hungary. Aishwarya, who won the first round in Dubai, finished with a tally of 65 points, just 4 ahead of Portugal's Rita Vieira in the final overall standings for women. The 23-year-old from Bengaluru also finished second in the FIM junior category on Sunday. As Independence Day is all set to be celebrated with Raksha Bandhan this year on August 15, markets and jewelry shops are displaying the color of nationalism while representing the current political mood in the country. Wearing a festive look, Surat markets are attracting buyers as they are selling gold and silver Rakis showing tricolor and the map of the country. Also, Rakis with the theme of the revoking of Article 370 and 35A are being sold to give a message of oneness and to praise the government for their efforts to bifurcate Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, that will come into existence on October 31st. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of English News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
जल है तो कल है,